What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Porter VN1 VNC for coming through and boosting up the coin. You best believe it. So we got some breaking news right now regarding His Turkulency Turki Alalshikh, who has leaked to the unwashed masses his next card, his next Roman gladiatorial games titillation. Here it is, people. Turki Alalshikh has now officially confirmed the first Ring Magazine USA card in May. Bash. We got Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. I don't know why Rolly Romero keeps getting put on. Now, what we also know is, or tell like, the next fight is Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. And the next fight is Martin Imad Bakoli versus Jefe Ayagba. Now, this card's a bit mid. I assume they'll put some more fluffers on there. But this is the headline. To be honest, thinking about it now, I've always thought fight cards are a bit long. The argument is, well, you make them long so you can get lesser fighters on the bottom of them. Pause. Yeah? Get lesser fighters to take the bottom position. No grinder. Anyway, listen. So there might be some more Bummingtons added. My original point was that I don't necessarily hate short and concise cards. I guess the argument is, if people are buying tickets, you want more of an event. But listen, football games are 90 minutes. And I remember when I went to a fight once, my doggy Adam came through from the States, Cali. We watched Joyce versus, what's his name? Joyce versus Zhang 2. Guess what, people? We didn't get to do 8 o'clock. That's the truth. We got there like, I don't know, an hour before the main event. Oops. I ain't trying to watch a bunch of randoms. And you can argue, well, IB, you're a hardcore casual. Possibly. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to sit there sucking up a bunch of bums. Random fights. I'm somewhere in the middle. And I don't want to be there all day and night. So, this is probably the better way of doing it. If you've got 3 fights worth watching, which I'd say that these are, keep it short and concise, man. Keep it punchy. Again, the flip side is, well, how do lesser fighters ever get a name if all you're doing is pumping the top one? So yeah, there's got to be a balance. On the flip side, just do more cards. Maybe put one Bummington fight on the bottom. These 3 fights and then one Bummington fight to open it up with Bummington. Yeah? And then get these other ones running. Anywho, I bet that there'll be more added onto this thing. Certainly there have been some Riyadh season cards that have been too long in the tooth. Like 8 fights deep. It's good, but it's just a bit too much. It's a bit too much for the TikTok generation to deal with. Do you understand? So it's somewhere in the middle. 5's cool. I'll only watch 3 of them though, unless they're bangers. That's the truth. But Turkey's changed that to some extent. I tuned in to watch Whittaker versus Liam Cameron, which was really on the early undercard of the October fight. The Paterbo versus Bivol. That one in February. There's about 10 fights in there. I'm going to watch them all for sure. No doubt about it. I'll be watching them all like this. My eyes will be turning square, man, by the time I finish watching that February 22nd card. You best believe it. Now, as far as the fights go, they're not the fights we want to see, is the truth. This is building up, though. Ryan Garcia versus Rolly is building up. So we get Devin Haney versus Jose. Sorry. The Ryan Garcia versus Rolly and Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez is building up. So we get in the back half of the year, Garcia versus Haney. They've both had a year out. They need to make sure there's lubrication there. I've got to say this. I like what Turkey's doing. He's thinking logically. But I'm a bit worried. Things go wrong in these kind of situations a lot. You've only got to need Ryan Garcia to get lost in the sauce thinking he's the next thing. Rolly's no good. Rolly's completely useless. He's completely useless. And there was talk of Ryan Garcia versus Pitbull. Again, that could be an accident waiting to happen. But Rolly, he should finish his dinner. Jose Ramirez, who was a champion at one point in time, he's not a Bummington. Devin Haney might be shot. So there's a risk here. Whenever you got... Look at Wilder. Oh, Wilder versus AJ's happening. Oops, he gets popped twice. And really, there's nothing different here. Yeah, Wilder was a 10-1 favourite over Joseph Parker. Devin Haney will be a 10-1 favourite over Jose Ramirez. Would it be shocking that Devin Haney's shot to bits? And Ramirez, who's got it all to prove at this point, to get back into the Riyadh season sweepstakes? Rolly Romero, the same situation. Is it possible Ryan Garcia's baked off his head and he's not training and he one of them ones? It's possible, but that is the game we're in. If these guys can't get there, if Devin Haney can't finish his dinner with, or can't beat Jose Ramirez, he probably wasn't going to beat Ryan Garcia anyway. I'm just, what's the word? Not worrying, but I guess you call it what you want. I guess they need warm-up fights, though. Is the argument. They've been out for a year, so they need a warm-up fight. Whatever. Martin Bakole versus F.A. Ajagba. No one wants to fight Bakole. It's not the fight again. This whole card really is... It should be called... Turkey said, look, this card will be named after the upcoming new game, Fatal Fury, City of Wolves. This card should be really called, never mind City of Wolves, it should be called The Fights No One Really Wants. Listen, I'm not knocking Turkey though. Yeah? I'm not knocking our Lord and Saviour, Turki Alalshikh. I'm not knocking him. Yeah, I'm not knocking him at all. He's a net benefit. The best, in my opinion, in the last 50 years, he's been the number one. Probably maybe of all time. Right? The number one dude in boxing of all time. Even after only a year. He's done more in boxing than anyone did in 50 years. What did Don King do? Don King got Mike fighting a bunch of bums. Most of the time. To hype him up. It wasn't real fights. There wasn't real fights. There was fights where Mike was massively overmatched. Undermatched, sorry. He was supposed to win, is what I'm saying. Don King was good at that. He was really a pioneer of the Bumington era, where you just pump up things. You'd pump them up. I think Ali fought... Don't quote me on this. I think Ali Muhammad. That's the wrong way around. Whatever. I'm sure Ali fought Liston pretty early. That's probably wrong though. That's probably wrong. I think I made it up, people. I ain't gonna lie. Let's have a look when he fought. What I'm trying to prove with this is that Don King came along and killed the sport, but that might not be true. I might have been capping to you, man. Sonny Liston. So how many fights was he in? Okay, no. He was fighting a bunch of bums. So yeah, it wasn't Don King who made the Bumington era. But these guys are more active though. Yeah, Ali went from turning pro in 1960 October to fighting Sonny Liston. Where is it? To fighting Sonny Liston in May 65. Sorry, he fought Sonny Liston in February 64. So literally 3 years, 3.25 years, Ali went from never boxed professionally in his life to fighting the main guy in the division in 3 and a bit years. That's the business. These days, people, these days, they turn pro and they don't do nothing like, what? I'm trying to think of an example. They turn pro, even AJ, for example. AJ turned pro in 2012 and he fought for a belt in 2016. I guess that's 4 years, but it was a Bumington belt. Ali was fighting the guy. He was fighting the guy, right? They don't do that these days. When did Ben Whittaker turn pro? Let's have a look, for example. Ben Whittaker box rec. He turned pro like 10 years ago, I'm sure it was. Seriously. So Ben Whittaker turned pro in 20... Okay, it's only been 2 years to be fair to him. Well, whatever. Forget that. Forget them bars then if you want. If you hate on the bars I just put out there, whatever. On a side note, so that's that card done. It's okay, it's mid. We'll take it. I'll watch it, probably in the morning. I ain't going to get up for it, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to get up for any of these fights. That's the truth. Bakole versus Ajagba though. It's going to be in the States. That means you have to wake up early for it. Am I going to wake up early for it? Sorry. It doesn't... Unless I wake up for the toilet, which happened the other day actually, as it happens. The other day some fight was on in the morning and I woke up for the toilet at like 4 a.m. I thought, okay, bosh, I'll stay up then. But outside of that, outside of a toilet break, breaking my sleep, I ain't setting an alarm. You can forget about that. I like Bakole as well, but I'll watch it in the morning. And that really for me is a good gauge of interest. If I don't want to set an alarm, I'm not really interested. Not that I'm the be all end all, of course, but let's have a look at this cut here with Ajagba. He got beat by Frank soft to the body Sanchez. He got beat here, and he got put down. Frank Sanchez can't punch with toffee, man. He can't punch with toffee. So it should be a molestation. If Martin Bakoli's got the momentum now. He's got the proof. I've done it now. I've whooped Jared Anderson. He needs to run with that. I wasn't impressed with Yoka. So what I'm going to say is, if I wake up on Sunday morning and Bakoli gets another points win, that tells me he's not going to knock Usyk out. Hence, is he going to beat Usyk on points? Probably not. Right. Because this guy got put down by Frank Sanchez. And let's look at Frank Sanchez. He can't punch. Frank Sanchez can't punch. He's documented he can't punch. Who's he knocked up? No one. There's no one he's knocked out on here. At all. Junior Fat, he knocked out. I don't know who that is though. Frank Sanchez knocked him out. Lucas Brown knocked this guy out. So the one name I've half heard of is Junior Fat. And Lucas Brown knocked him out in round 1. Lucas Brown knocked out Junior Fat in round 1. Lucas Brown was finished. He was never no good, to tell the truth. A big slaphead. That's the truth. Yeah. When I think of a big slaphead, I think of Lucas Brown. Dave Allen stopped him, man. I think this was after. So wait there a minute. Let me get this right. Dave Allen stops Lucas Brown in 2019. Lucas Brown 3 years later then goes on to stop Junior Fa in round 1. Frank Sanchez then fights Junior Fa. It takes him 7 rounds. He can't punch. If Lucas Brown can knock your block off in round 1, you can't box and you can't punch. Is my base case. Yeah? So Frank Sanchez can't punch. And Frank Sanchez popped F.A. Jagba and put him down, popped his cherry. Jagba down in round 7. Hence, if Bakoli can't proper do F.A. Jagba some serious arm, I'm talking stoppage. If he beats F.A. Jagba on points, like Frank soft to the body Sanchez did, what you can do with Usyk, man? Come on. What you can do with Usyk? Stop playing. You do nothing. So Bakoli needs to go in there and eat. Proper eat. Not like the Yoka fight. The Yoka fight was bad, man. He was goosed up in the last few rounds. It wasn't even 12 rounds. In the last few rounds, he was hanging like blowing. And nothing left. I believe this should be a 12-round fight as well. So we're going to hopefully not. Hopefully Bakoli blows this guy out and it can add to his prestige. But if it goes rounds, who knows? Because he was blowing against Yoka in them last 2 or 3. Seriously. Watch that fight. Watch the last two or 3 rounds at least. From rounds 8, 9 and 10. He was blowing. And Yoka was half in them rounds. He started off really sharp, and then his gas fell off. Anyway, yeah, it's the card. We'll take it. It's another good filler card, to be fair. Having these, on hindsight, looking back a few years ago, if we could have had Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney on a card, would have been jumping from the hills. So it's not that bad. It's entertaining as well. The build-up for Garcia and Romero will be entertaining. The fact Devin Haney's on the cast, they'll be back and forth there as well. And Bakoli and the Jagba, there's some beef there. You got the Congo versus Nigeria. So yeah, it's one of them. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this when people stop playing with me.